This is the clone that spawned 1,000 clones. I'll talk about it here in a minute. Stick around. Hi, folks. Old man Grognard back, and due to equipment malfunctions and various and sundry things, I'm back to the roots, which means no more fancy picture-in-picture and things like that. Just me and what I'm talking about. And today, what I'm talking about is Swords and Wizardry White Box. And here it is. This is my copy. You may have seen other copies with different covers. This is the latest one as far as I know. This was written by, adapted by, I should say. It's based on not only Swords and Wizardry, but the original 3 white boxes. It basically took it and kind of cleaned it up a bit and make it a little more readable and added a few things, changed a few things, not by much. And this is by Marv Brigg, based upon Swords and Wizardry Core Rules by Matthew J. Finch. This was published in 2008. This is about 108 pages. It's a really nice book. And this one's published by Brave Halfling. It's the 3rd print edition. Brave Halfling, licensed from Mythmere Games. I think I got that right. Anyway. Like I said, it's a clone of original D&D. So, let's take a look at it. You've got, just like original D&D, you have 3 classes and 4 races. Now, it's interesting in here that the 4 races, the elf, dwarf, halfling, and human, of course. But the elf, they give a variant, which makes it more of the equivalent of the basic D&D elf, which means you can be both a fighter and a magic user at the same time, with a few restrictions, because in here the elf, they were taking the old, if you want to be a fighter or a magic user, you can be one or both, but each time you play, you have to decide, do you want to jump up as a fighter, level up as a fighter, or a magic user, and you have to choose it before each adventure or each day, or whenever. That's pretty much old school. The 3 classes, of course, are the cleric, magic user, and fighter. The thief didn't come along until the next supplement in the original, so they left it out. And I'm sure there are other supplements for this out there to compensate for that. Now, I picked this because, I don't know, I've reviewed so many games that are based on Swords and Wizardry White Box that I decided, why don't I just do Swords and Wizardry White Box to see where it all came from? And there's, one of my previous reviews, I did The Hero's Journey, which is also based on Swords and Wizardry White Box. I also have all the Night Owl game stuff, Freebooters, Raiders of the Lost Artifacts, which is also based on this. And the nice thing about it is it's not based on OD&D itself. It's based on Swords and Wizardry's clone of OD&D, which means they change a couple things for the better. First of all, it's easier to read. Let's take a look at here. I'll just hold these up. I used to have trouble with this on my other on my previous podcasts of holding things up, but this one works rather well. See, it's a nice layout, 1-column layout, clear tables, and things, and and everything's D6 or a D20 a hit, and everything else is D6. So easy peasy. It's got some spells. Now the spells are kind of cut down. They don't have magic missile, which I was disappointed in. But hey, you can't have everything, right? But they do things like in Swords and Wizardry, there is 1 saving throw, and it is by class, and it gets better as you go up. They also give you the option of ascending and descending armor class, like regular Swords and Wizardry, which is nice. Your starting gold, it's 3d6 times 10. Now, they do tell you if you want to roll up your stats, if you want to really do it hardcore, it's 3d6 straight down. But you can also do like I do, the 4d6, drop the lowest and put them where you want. And, of course, they have what they call a universal attribute bonus, which isn't much. They elaborated on this in basic D&D, but basically it's 3 to 6, you're -1 or 5%. Average, nothing. And if the stat is 15 to 18, you're above average, and you get +1 or +5%, however it comes out to. And it's really a complete game. It even gives you a few ideas on designing an adventure and how to run the game, creating campaign, the usual stuff. The monsters are not bad. I mean, the less stats, the better for stuff like this. Here's the monsters. And you can see it's a simple stat. It's a simple stat block and description. That's it. There's no illustrations in here. This is very sparsely illustrated, but you really don't need it for this. And this thing has spawned so many variants, from Hero's Journey to Night Owl to, oh, you name it. Every once in a while I run across another one, and it's a pretty good book. I like it. I wouldn't mind either running in it or running it. I would have no problem with this, even with the restrictions. I'd run the Variant Elf, because that's what got me into basic D&D. Well, basic D&D got me into basic D&D, but once I found the elf, it's like, yeah, I wear armor and cast spells. Right on. So where can you find this? Right now, about the only place you can find it, and there are other editions with different covers than this, but the place you can find it right now is Lulu. I don't think you can find it on drive-thru. I didn't see it on drive-thru. I saw James Bond's white box supplements for it, but I didn't see a white box itself. I don't know. It's always been a little scarce. I don't know why. And there's earlier versions you can find on the web, like for free, that were like earlier drafts and things like that. But if you want a copy of it, you can get the PDF for free on Lulu, and I'll put the links down there in a sec. And the print version is a hardcover like this, only I think there's a different cover, for $18.99, which is not a bad price for this. And it's digest size, which I really like. And so I would advise you go out and get a great intro to role-playing for people, too, because it's a lot simpler. A lot simpler. It doesn't give you as many choices. You don't have as many, you're not inundated with options, if you know what I mean. So, Swords of Wizardry white box, go get it. You'll love it. And if you have any say yay or nay, you can drop me a line at oldmangrognard@gmail.com. So until next time, we will have more reviews. So you have a good whatever, and bye-bye.